Okay, so what's going on, you guys? I just wanted to talk about something really quick. So hopefully this video won't be so long, but I won't make any promises. However, I keep seeing on like news feeds people sharing videos and like this one particular video, this woman talking about she uh, works in DC and has some connections or knows someone who has connections about certain programs like Section 8 and all that kind of stuff or whatever, how it's, about to change um, once Trump actually is in office. What frustrated me about that video is you have this woman on here who is calling herself helping by giving this knowledge to her people, which would be African American people, about Section 8 and how it wasn't designed for people to stay on there for 15, 20 years, and how um, lazy the recipients are, and how some of them that they don't work. And what frustrated me about the video was that if you don't know enough about the program, for you to come out there and say those things, I don't think people who do know about the program would take you seriously. This program was designed for people to stay on it. And if you know anything about it, you would know that that's true. It's like dangling $1 million in your face and telling you you can have this as long as you qualify for this. When you do, you can have it, and I can give you $1 million yearly as long as you fit in this median. So you have this program that so-called help those don't make a whole lot of money, single parents and things like that. It's a program that was designed so-called to help them get on their feet to do better in life. That's what you would think. That's what she was saying. That this program is just like a stepping stone. It wasn't meant for you to stay on it. However, there's no transition period. So it's like, as long as you fit within this median, making money wise, we'll go ahead and help you, because you're not making a whole lot of money to begin with. You got a whole bunch of school loans. They tell you to go to school. They tell you to take out all these loans to so-called get a good job, but you can't get the good job because you don't have the experience. So you're kind of stuck in this minimum wage, a little bit over minimum wage job, trying to make ends meet, and then you got kids to feed. So it sounds like a good thing. So you sign up, see if you're eligible for it, and you get into it. Then there's all kind of tricks and trades to make sure that you qualify, because you know that without it, you and your children will be homeless. So that's the other side of it that they don't tell you. They tell you it's a program that's designed to help you, to do this and do that and the third. So when you're trying to so-called pull your stuff up by the bootstraps, the other part of it is like, okay, if you make, a penny over, everything stops. All your benefit stops. Whatever benefits that you may be, getting, whether that's assistance with your rent or with programs or food stamps or whatever, all that stuff stops. And so that's a scary situation to be in when, you don't have it right then. You don't have it right then. So you're working at this job, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that, you're trying to save money or whatever, and it's kind of difficult to do that when the assistant is with your rent, but it's not with, with your light bill and gas and all that food that whatever. Depending on how many kids you have, these things are monthly, not weekly benefits. So it may be a little bit different. If it was weekly, you get more, but monthly, it's different, and it's difficult when you have more than one child. So I didn't like that video. You know, I commented and I didn't share it. I didn't like it because it was making it seem like those people who are getting assistance are taking advantage. Now, I'm not saying that there's people on these programs that are taking advantage. There are, but which makes it harder for those who are not. And then they get, and what I hate is when people put that like that stereotype of saying that everybody on assistance is lazy, everybody on assistance doesn't work, or they don't want to work, and all that kind of stuff. Unless you've met everybody on that system and had a conversation with them, then to label them all sounds stupid. I mean, it really does. That's just like saying all black people are criminals. Unless you've met every black person, you know, then for you to make that comment is stupid, because you haven't met every black person, so you don't know everybody on the system. And her stats, what she was saying was wrong, because African Americans do not make the statistically speaking, those that are benefiting from these programs, there are more Caucasian people than there are African American people. But that's not even the point, or whatever. To me, I just didn't like her saying that those people that are on it are lazy and don't work. There's people on it that are disabled and cannot work. So what about them? I mean, I just feel like if you're going to speak on something, you know, and then she's like saying, oh, people, you know, would you think Obama's going to stay in office forever? Section 8 and these programs have been along well before Obama got into office, so that comment didn't make sense. So, I mean, the programs have been developed and ongoing well before he stepped into office. So him being in office and not being in office anymore doesn't hold water. I'm not really sure why she made that comment. It just didn't make sense to me. I just feel like it was, because I know about it. I know people on it, and I just felt like for her to make that comment, I think was really just stupid. And then, you know, and then not offering a way to help, because that's what you're so-called doing, to help them get off the program by saying things like, I know that it's difficult, you know, to get out of that program, to get out of that mindset, but this is what you can do to do this. You know, give an option. It's almost like what they were doing to President Obama by, you know, downgrading everything that he tried to put together, or he tried to put forth and put on the table. It was being thrown out. They didn't agree with it. Okay, well, if you don't agree with it, then give me something to work with. You're not giving me anything to work with. So her comments were like, oh, you guys are lazy, you don't want to work, you know, it wasn't designed for y'all to stay on it for 15, 20, 30 years and all this kind of stuff. Okay, well then you give me an option. You give me something in this video that you're doing. You give me something to work with that I can possibly move on with. But you so-called helping your brothers and your sisters by talking down to them, I don't see how that's helpful. I really don't, because I mean, what you're doing is no different than from anybody else telling me about this program. How people, you're telling me the same thing. I mean, you're not telling me anything different. So, and all the so-called help that you got from your insider about changing money and all that kind of stuff, it's been doing that. And you don't think people who so-called been on it 15, 20, 30 years hasn't seen a change? Okay, and give us something to work with. Those people who are on it, give them something to work with. You know, I can't stand when people talk, so-called help people, but all you're doing is talking down to people. That's all you're really doing. And you're not telling anybody anything different. So, it's like you wasted like 10, 20 minutes of a video telling people stuff that they already know, and then talking down to them at the as like a underlining thought. You know, you're so-called saying, I'm trying to help my people, but then you're talking down to them. And the whole video, I didn't see how you were helping anybody do anything. I didn't get anything out of it, and people was like, oh yeah, amen. Amen to what? To what? What did you say in that video that people don't already know? You weren't You know, you didn't tag any jobs links in there. You didn't tag any school to better assist them with getting a better job to help them get off the program. You ain't put any of that in the video. So where was the help? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I hate labels. I hate when people say a whole group of somebody is something when you don't know that. You don't know. You know, you don't know everybody's story. You just assume that that's how they got onto it because, you know, Keisha from, you know, the hood, got all these kids and don't want to work and try to get on the system. That's what everybody's like ideal picture of somebody who's on assistance. And it's truly sad that people think that way, but they do. But I just hate when people label people or group of people and say, oh, all these people who are on assistance, this is why. I just hate that.